people have to live in unity.
We are still in transition.
Civil society has been decimated.
Of course, we rely on media.
And I think the government has not done enough.
The international community has failed to respond.
No place in the world is perfect.
Hello viewers, I'm your host Pratiksha Mishra with another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show with India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar's recent visit to the Maldives, which showcased the deep and multifaceted bond between the two countries rooted in historical and cultural ties. During his visit, Jaishankar held discussions with Moldavian leaders that led to new agreements and the initiation of significant development projects. This strengthened partnership highlights India's dedication to regional stability and supports its neighborhood-first policy. Here's a closer look.
India and the Maldives share deep-rooted connections spanning ethnic, linguistic, cultural, religious, and commercial dimensions. Their relationship has always been close, friendly, and multifaceted. India was one of the first countries to recognize the Maldives following its independence in 1965 and promptly established diplomatic ties. The Maldives holds a significant place in India's neighborhood-first foreign policy, which seeks to promote stability and prosperity in the Indian Ocean region. Recently, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar completed a key visit to Male, where he reassured the Maldivian leadership of the country's importance as a partner in fostering peace, stability, and prosperity in the Indian Ocean region. During his visit, S. Jaishankar met with President Moizu and had extensive discussions with the Foreign Minister as well as the Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Trade and the Governor of the Maldives Monetary Authority. Moreover, S. Jaishankar signed MOUs on capacity building and inaugurated 6 high-impact community development projects.
India follows a policy which is non-reciprocal and is our neighborhood first policy. We attach a great importance to stability, security, prosperity and development of all our neighbors. And India has continued to play a role of a nation builder in all our neighbors and helped them consistently. Maldives is no exception. India has throughout helped them and assisted them a great deal, and they understand.
Moldavian President Moizu expressed appreciation for India's ongoing developmental aid and reaffirmed his commitment to enhancing the India-Maldives relationship. At the President's office, S. Jaishankar and the Foreign Minister jointly inaugurated a water sewerage network project financed by India's line of credit, which will serve 21 islands in the Maldives. President Moizu's willingness to engage with India signed a pragmatic shift in the Moldavian foreign policy aimed at bolstering bilateral ties for mutual benefit. S. Jaishankar's successful visit thus marked a crucial step in strengthening and advancing the India-Maldives partnership.
Although President Moizu's political party had, for different domestic reasons, did that India out campaign and all that, but soon they realized what India is bringing on the table for the people of Maldives, irrespective of the political dispensation, and so they have to also think of their own national interests. So I think what Dr. Jaishankar's visit and earlier invitation to President Moizu to attend Prime Minister Modi's swearing-in ceremony, these are all indicators that India and Maldives are on the right path of good neighborly friends and countries, And this is the thing that India has followed. This is probably the model that is acceptable to everyone.
S. Jaishankar's visit proved to be a pivotal strategic initiative highlighting the essential role of diplomacy in managing international relations. By reaffirming the importance of India-Maldives relations, the visit played a crucial role in enhancing regional stability. This strengthening of ties has broader implications for India's foreign policy, particularly in its approach to smaller neighboring countries. Deepening the relationship with the Maldives, a strategically positioned island nation, allows India to bolster its influence in the Indian Ocean. This move is vital for fostering a cooperative regional environment and reinforcing India's strategic presence in this important maritime region.
Let's turn our focus to Balochistan, a region that has recently garnered significant international attention from human rights groups, foreign governments and media sources. The situation there is both dynamic and intricate, with ongoing protests highlighting a range of issues deeply intertwined with the region's historical, economic and political background. Take a look.
The protests in Pakistan's Balochistan have underscored the deep-rooted issues within the province and have attracted both national and international attention to the Baloch people's struggles. The ongoing demonstrations reveal a broader fight for rights and justice. A significant driver of the recent protests is the issue of enforced disappearances. Families of the missing have been outspoken about the alleged abductions of their loved ones, who are often suspected to have been taken by security forces. This has sparked considerable unrest and intensified calls for justice and accountability. A key development in the ongoing struggle for Baloch rights and autonomy is the increased activism of Maharang Baloch. As a leading figure in the Baloch nationalist movement, her heightened involvement reflects the broader trends of political agitation and advocacy in the region.
कि मर्ची आहानी कुर्बानी वजह सरजमे राज यक जागा बुता सरजमे राजा इन आका में फाशिस्टी रियासत दीमा उस्ताद का उमरची ना तन्ना ग्वादरा बल्कि बलूच की हर जगह निष्ठा यक जगह वती मुजम्मत वती जद्दोजहद बारी शहीद हमदान बलूच क्या यक वरना बुता दो रोज भी कि नोश की सरजमीन नेता आयर जनक बीते अमीवर में ब्रात शहीद नसीर बलूच तला रहता वदे लक्के आबादी काया 28 जुलाई कि महाराजी मुच्छी आवार बे आईएफसी तीरगवारी अशा शहीद कनक बीते मैं ब्रात शहीद असगर बलूच केदा अमी जागा हा कि माउशमा निश्तगे आमेदा पाकिस्तान फाशिस्ट फौजी यानी तीरगवारी अशा शहीद कनक बीते न तन्ना शहीद कनक बा भले मैं शहीदानी लाशानी बे और मती कनक बीते शहीद नसीर लाश एदा अस्पताल तू का कप्ता अमीर रियासते फौजी दल्लार अस्पताल सील इसको था क्या ये ब्रात उमा शुमा लाशा चिस्तकोत मकने.
Large-scale national gatherings such as protests and rallies often represent the collective frustration and demands of the Baloch people. These events are usually organized to address issues like political autonomy, economic disparity, and human rights abuses. The scale and intensity of these gatherings underscore the depth of discontent and the strong desire for change among the Baloch population. The response from law enforcement during these gatherings is a critical indicator of the government's stance on dissent and civil unrest. Instances of police brutality during protests demonstrate a heavy-handed approach to managing public dissent. The use of excessive force, including tear gas, rubber bullets, and even live ammunition, highlights the government's reluctance to address grievances through dialogue and peaceful means.
मिठाई फिंग ख्वाइना नन ख्वाइना के ओ जागा दासा बलोच की जोड़ मफस ओ कने लगे कने दलुम्मा ईड़ता जोदान अंता गिड़ाना महसूस मरे के बल्कि जिंदांग दसबाज कमजोर जोड़ मरे बल्कि दर रियासत ना अमो वरा बल्ला दुए ओ बाज कमजोर मरे लेकिन दाड़े तूलो का बंदगा नना कौम ना ईड़ लुम्मा पैदा मरो का चुनाव अरादा कसरट कारा दावते अन्नने अंदागड़ा महसूस मरे के शायद दासनन दा मुश्किलाता मोना इनोफन.
The increasing protests in Balochistan present significant challenges for Pakistan, but the country has struggled to learn the lessons necessary to address the root causes of the unrest effectively. The Pakistani government's approach to managing the unrest has often relied on heavy-handed security measures, including crackdowns and arrests. Such tactics can suppress dissent temporarily, but frequently exacerbate resentment and perpetuate a cycle of violence and repression. The failure to address core grievances, reliance on security measures, inadequate dialogue, all are contributing to the ongoing challenges.
Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
India marked its 78th Independence Day on August 15 with this year's theme Viksit Bharat or Developed India, highlighting the nation's vision to become a developed country by 2047 and underscoring the government's dedication to this transformation. During his Independence Day speech at the historic Red Fort in New Delhi, Prime Minister Modi expressed India's desire for its neighboring countries to pursue peace and prosperity. He also voiced hope for the restoration of peace, stability, and the protection of minorities, particularly Hindus, in neighboring Bangladesh, where recent violent protests have occurred.
बांग्लादेश में जो कुछ भी हुआ है उसको लेकर पड़ोसी देश के नाते चिंता होना मैं इसको समझ सकता हूं. मैं आशा करता हूं कि वहां पर हालात जल्द ही सामान्य होंगे. खास करके 140 करोड़ देशवासियों की चिंता कि वहां हिंदू, वहां के अल्पसंख्यक, उस समुदाय की सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित हो.
On August 14, hundreds of Afghans and Taliban fighters took to the streets of Kabul to commemorate the third anniversary of the Taliban's takeover of the Afghan capital. The fighters displayed Taliban flags while parading through the city in former US military vehicles, with some chanting slogans such as Allah is the greatest and death to America. While many Afghans expressed their support for the Taliban government, there were also calls for improvements in the country's working conditions.
ټول مؤمن مسلمان ولس په دغه ورځ کې ډېر خوشاله دي ځکه چې په دغه ورځ چې شغال مات شوی دی کار مات شوی دی او ستر طاقت چې دی ورته ویله هغه د افغانستان په وتلي دی هغه شکست خوړلی دی.
On August 15, 2021, following a swift offensive as US-led foreign forces were withdrawing after 2 decades of inconclusive conflict, the Taliban seized control of Kabul. Pakistan's military said it had arrested retired General Faiz Hamid, former head of Inter-Services Intelligence ISI agency, in connection with a land development case. The detention of a high-profile officer is unusual in Pakistan, where the military has ruled for over 30 of the 77 years since independence and continues to hold sway. The arrest was ordered by the Supreme Court, the military said in a statement, adding that multiple violations of the Pakistan Army Act after Hamid's retirement had also been established.
Moving on. Sri Lanka's presidential race has intensified after incumbent President Ranil Wickremesinghe officially filed for re-election, pledging to complete his work on economic recovery. Facing severe economic turmoil since 2022, Wickremesinghe aims to build on his efforts to stabilize the country. He faces competition from opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, who criticizes corruption, and Anura Kumara, who frames the election as a chance to confront those he blames for the crisis. With the economy still in distress following a historic debt default, the upcoming election will be crucial for Sri Lanka's path forward. Take a look.
Sri Lanka's current president, Ranil Wickremesinghe, has officially entered the presidential race, submitting his candidacy to Colombo's Election Commission on August 15th. In his address, Wickremesinghe promised to continue improving the nation's situation as he campaigns for the upcoming election in September.
I have stabilized the economy. I have increased production. So they have food to eat. They have fuel to travel around. But it's not over yet. Life can be hard for some people. We have to stabilize the economy. So what we are saying is, let's go ahead and finish this job. And that's why I am asking for your support.
At the age of 75, Wickremesinghe has led Sri Lanka through a severe financial crisis, which saw widespread protests and led to the resignation of his predecessor, Gotabaya Rajapaksa. He is one of 39 candidates who have filed nominations for the September 21 election. Among his main rivals are opposition leader Sajith Premadasa and Marxist-leaning parliamentarian Anura Kumara.
Right now, 22 million people of our country are suffering from incompetence, ineptitude, mass-scale corruption and looting of the public treasury. So we hope to eradicate this mess of corruption, and we hope to ensure that we have people's sovereignty prevailing.
The September election will be Sri Lanka's first significant poll since the nation faced a severe economic collapse in 2022, which led to a default on its foreign debt.
මේ ඉතිහාසයේ වෙනස් කරන තීරණාත්මක මැතිවරණය තමයි සැප්තැම්බර් මාසේ 21 වෙනිදා එන්නේ. ඒ නිසා මෙතෙක් හුදු ආණ්ඩු මාරුවීම්, පුද්ගලයන්ගේ මාරුවීම් වෙනුවට මේ රට විනාශ කරන ලද මේ ක්‍රියාදාමයේ පරාජයට පත් කිරීම සඳහා මැතිවරණ බවට මේක පත් කරගත හැකියි.
In 2022, Sri Lanka faced a severe shortage of foreign currency reserves, which crippled its ability to import essential goods and services. The economic turmoil was exacerbated by soaring inflation, widespread shortages of food, medicine and fuel, and a dramatic decline in the quality of life for ordinary Sri Lankans. The crisis led to intense public protests and political instability, culminating in the resignation of the then president Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The economic collapse also forced Sri Lanka to default on its foreign debt for the first time in decades, a move that severely impacted its international credit standing and strained relations with global financial institutions. This default not only affected the country's ability to secure new loans, but also triggered a prolonged period of negotiation with creditors to restructure its debt and seek relief. As Sri Lanka prepares for this crucial election, the focus is on how candidates propose to address the lingering economic issues and restore stability. The outcome of the election will be critical in determining the country's path forward and its ability to recover from the deep economic crisis that has reshaped its political and social landscape.
And now let's move to Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where local shopkeepers and leaders have staged a protest against steep rent increases and the illegal sealing of shops due to non-payments. The Jammu-Kashmir Joint Awami Action Committee is demanding immediate action from POJK Prime Minister Anwarul Haq to reopen their businesses. The committee accuses the administration of misinterpreting a Supreme Court order leading to unaffordable rents. Traders facing financial strain are voicing their frustration, feeling exploited and abandoned. A report.
Local leaders and tenant shopkeepers in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir have organized a protest against the authorities over an increase in shop rents and the illegal sealing of their shops due to non-payment of the new rates. The tenants have demanded immediate action from POJK Prime Minister Anwarul Haq to reopen their shops. The protest, led by Shaukat Nawaz Mir of the Jammu and Kashmir Joint Awami Action Committee, saw sellers and shopkeepers gathering at a local chowk to address the sudden closure of their shops.
इशू ये है कि महकमा औकाफ का और इन दुकानदारान का कोई रेंट के ऊपर एक हमारा क्लैश चल रहा था, एक तनाज़ा था। वो था फेयर रेंट का मामला कि ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट की डायरेक्शन को बार बार डिस्कस किया जा रहा है, जो महकमा औकाफ की तरफ से किया जा रहा है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने फैसला किया हुआ है, उसके मुताबिक उन्होंने कहा कि मार्केट रेट के मुताबिक किरायों का तयन किया जाए। तो हमने जब इन पे एतराज़ किया कि आपने अगर इस मार्केट को देखा है तो वो सामने दुकान है, इतनी बड़ी दुकान है, उसका किराया 18,000। ये आपके पीछे जिसका फ्रंट जो है 13 फुट है, उसका किराया इन्होंने 12,000 से 26,500 कर दिया। तो ये बताया जाए कि ये किस मैकेनिज्म से बनाया गया।
Mir accused the administration of misinterpreting the Supreme Court's order and unfairly treating the public by sealing their shops due to non-payment of the inflated rents. The frustrated shopkeepers and traders organized a sit-in at one of the prominent community squares in Muzaffarabad to protest the exorbitant rents imposed on their shops.
आज से तकरीबन 3-4 साल पहले इन्होंने 2000 से 12,000 कर दिया था। फिर इन्होंने ये वादा किया था कि हम ये किराया जो है आपको इसमें पक्की दुकानें बना के RCC और इसी किराए पे देंगे। फिर वो अपने वादे से मुकर गए और अब जो है मेरा किराया 12,000 से उन्होंने 26,500 रुपये कर दिया है। मैं गरीब आदमी हूँ, बाल बच्चेदार हूँ, छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं। मैं 26,500 इनको दूंगा और बच्चों को क्या खिलाऊंगा?
The rent increase adds to the uncertainty for locals, impacting their ability to manage family expenses. Residents in POJK have long accused the puppet authorities of leaving them in a state of uncertainty. They believe the administration is helping Islamabad fill its coffers by allowing economic exploitation in the region. After all, their lives don't matter as much as the lives of the administrators and their cronies.
These protests in POJK highlight broader concerns about economic exploitation and administrative negligence in the region. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Goodbye and take care.
People have to live in unity.
We are still in transition.
Civil society has been decimated.
Of course, we rely on media.
And I think the government has not done enough.
The international community has failed to respond.
No place in the world is perfect.